I would like to introduce your speaker for today, Brian Gazella, CEO of Learn Your Benefits. Brian, floor is all yours.
Excellent. Thank you very, very much, Riley. Welcome everyone to another Learn Your Benefits webinar. This is actually one of my absolute favorites. We've never done it for a large audience like HR Executive. We've just done it for some very, very small audiences. It's what HR teams can learn from marketers for benefit success. Stay with me. I'll draw my thesis and my conclusion in just a second. And also introductions a little bit more into me and my co-founder and partner here on this presentation, Corey. Those will come in just a second. And plus I'll shut off my camera in just a little bit so you can focus on the presentation. But for now, let me lead with a couple of opening remarks. We'll talk about how Corey and I hope to sort of run the presentation, our mission and vision as Learn Your Benefits founders here, and then, well, what the heck do we mean by marketing? I'm going to open with that really, really soon here. So the format of this is I'm going to do the presenting for about the next, 45, 55 minutes, something like that. Hopefully there's time at the end for some questions. During the presentation, I'm going to ask some questions. And so I would love you to go into the Q&A, like Riley talked about just a second ago, put in your comments, put in your answers, share anything we might want to hear. Because Corey then, who we're joined with here, he's going to be in the chat, he's going to be participating. And then what we love to do is get a little conversation going. I might say something that contradicts what the crowd is saying or vice versa. And so let's have that conversation during this presentation. And by the way, I love Tampa, just not today. I need to be in the Q&A, so I can see that right now. So that's fantastic. So then why communications? Why are we talking about marketing and benefits? Well, we're a communications platform. Corey's been doing this for 20 years for Fortune 500 companies. Learn Your Benefits has been around less than that. We'll talk about that in just a second. But our mission is to help your employees thrive and be there during their moments of need. More accurately, our goal is to help your employees thrive through your benefits. So that's our primary mission. Communications is all we do. It's something that we're passionate for. You're going to see us step up on our soapbox here in just a couple of minutes. So hopefully you're just as passionate about it as we are. And so if you feel like you want to comment and you want to add to it, we really, really appreciate that. So again, put in the chat. Now, why marketing? Okay, there's a whole field of marketing called marketing communications. Marketing is very much, we all learned about it in undergrad, the 4 Ps, product, price, place, something rather. And I actually used to help run an advertising agency here in the Minneapolis area. And I've learned that, wow, there's so many correlations from this, and it's helped sort of drive our product evolution here at Learn Your Benefits, as well as Corey has done significant marketing as well. So if you know anything about marketing and how it's changed with social and online and mobile devices, marketing Marcom has dramatically changed in the last few years. So then we draw this correlation. Well, then benefit communications must dramatically change. And that's how we're driving the evolution of Learn Your Benefits to try to help you all transition to this new paradigm of communications. So then, well, why? Why is benefit communications much changed? And we're going to talk about this in a little bit in just a second. Digital natives, they're an enormous part of your organization. And then they demand on demand. So not just force-fed materials during a certain period of time. They demand on-demand answers, on-demand content when they're ready to consider. That's just how things have changed. And how people become aware of products and grow trust in them. So i.e. how they become aware of your benefits and how they grow trust in your benefits has dramatically changed. Think about the influencer marketplace. So for the next 45 minutes, I'm going to draw the correlation from marketing to benefits communications, and then we'll outline what we can really learn. So at this point in time, I'm going to shut off my webcam if you don't mind. That way I don't see it looking at me in the face here as I go through the presentation. I'll turn it on. And then we'll jump into the learning objectives right here. So during this presentation, let's first understand your audience. Some of these things are going to be new. Some of them are going to be old. Yeah, we've heard it. But then I'm going to connect that to the customer journey. So the customer journey, or marketers have changed that journey to a modern customer journey, understanding that their audience has changed. And in this case, our audience is employees, understanding and learning your benefits as our audiences are employees. And I'm going to draw that to something that we hope is new to you, the idea of the benefits journey, or the benefits customer journey, if you will. There's no hard and fast rule on it. And then we'll talk about how to utilize technology for benefits communications that speaks directly to the benefits journey here. So now let's convert that then to an agenda. I'm going to finally get to introductions. Who's the person talking to me right here? And then understanding your audience, the customer journey, the benefits journey, utilizing technology, and then leave some time at the end for Q&A. So introductions. As you saw on the cameras just a second ago, I'm the man on the left. I'm 6'7". I am giant. If you saw me come up and you would say, yes, I'm huge. And then if you see me again, make sure you shake my hand and come up and introduce yourselves at some shows. We'll be at Health and Benefits Leadership Conference in, I believe it's first week in May, give or take, here with HR Executive Magazine. So come and check us out if you're there. I'm one of the co-founders here with Corey, which we're joined with, which is awesome. I've got really less experience in communications as Corey, but I've been in technology, HR, and benefits and strategy and finance for 15 to 20 years in organizations from $1 million to $1 billion, but really on the internal side of HR. Corey, with 20 years in technology and mobile, has been helping Fortune 500 organizations in communications through a communications agency specializing in benefits education. And as co-founders in Learning Benefits, we founded the idea that, well, how do we bring Fortune 500 level communications to every size organization? And the best way to do that is to create a communications and navigation platform that's true self-service software as a service, yet largely supported with concierge services. You understand HR teams are regularly understaffed. We've got solutions for partners and employers. We're founded many, many years ago. Got a few hundred organizations on our platform. We're in Minneapolis, Corey and I are. And we're not an HRIS or Ben admin system. We're just true communications to accelerate benefits knowledge. That's the end of the freaking, pardon my language, that's the end of the presentation of Learn Your Benefits for now. So before we get into our presentation, this is that first question I want to ask. And then go ahead and put your comments in the chat. And then Corey will certainly interrupt me when there's enough answers in here. So communications, we all have a different perspective on why they're there. Is it to help employees make a proper benefit selection? Is it to teach them how to use your specific benefits? Is it to help just head off questions and stop bothering you? Or do you do it year round? So of these points, what do you struggle with the most? Do you struggle with helping employees make decisions? Do you struggle with teaching them how to use their benefit? Do you struggle with helping employees get answers? Are they coming to you with thousands and thousands of questions? And then do you struggle with frequency, doing it more frequently during the year? So like I said, Corey's going to be in the chat participating in this, and I certainly want him to chime in and let us know what he sees regularly in the presentation. So with that, then I'm going to kind of jump into the first learning objective. One thing I do see is people saying making proper benefit selections. That's 100% of the problem. In many, many organizations. Keep going into the chat. We really, really appreciate it, or the Q&A. Now, in order to make our thesis around connecting this to benefits in the benefits journey, we got to understand our audience and how that audience changed marketing forever. So these 2 points on the screen, you've seen these 1,000 times the last 15 years. Employees don't like to read. Employees are bored, right? Well, the reality of it, it's not just superficial enough to say it, that it's actually wrong, I believe. Employees, they will read, and yes, employees will disregard boredom when they become interested and curious about something. They don't necessarily, they're not going to watch, they're not going to read about a car unless they're genuinely interested in learning about that car. Employees are bored of the same old print ads and the same old magazines, but the reality is they will disregard that if they're interested in it. It's a token, or it's a symptom or a side effect that our workforce is now largely digital natives, which we'll talk about in just a second what that means. It used to be we would talk about, well, Generation Z and millennials, and how do we communicate them? How do we do it? It's too late, right? Generation Z and millennials in many organizations, particularly in software and technology like us, they're a majority of the organization, if not a super majority of the organization. Generation Z is 27% of your workforce, maybe. Well, that's actually by 2025. That stat is, just to be really, really clear on. But it's 43 million people by 2025. Millennials, 35% of your organization, or 56 million. You might have a different statistic, so go ahead and put that in the Q&A, and I'd love to hear what people are seeing. So total, 62% of your workforce are millennials and Generation Z, which are digitally native. They've spent their entire lives on mobile devices and phones and apps. What's the statistic? People used to spend 13 to 17 minutes on their mobile device. Now it's 6 or 7 hours a day. That's digitally native. That's also people who are, the second point, they're digitally and socially overwhelmed. So they're inundated with social media. They're inundated with information. So they will not give you the attention that you want until they're ready to do it. So our point is, they don't read, they don't watch videos, they're bored. Well, they're just so massively overwhelmed, and they're individualistic and independent. I like independence in my studies of Generation Z is, they want to know they're invited, but they won't necessarily come. That's independence. They want to know that they have the benefit that you're offering them, but they won't do it until it really resonates at their own independence. And so lots of groups are studying this. So this is MIT. This is a write-up in Inc. magazine that was talking about, well, how do we get employees to pay attention to our information, bringing in the ideas of Generation Z and millennials. But the bottom line is, you won't get it. You're not going to get their attention until they're ready to give it to you. You can force open enrollment meetings. You can force webinars. You can send out the emails. You can do that. They won't give you attention until they're darn good and ready. So you have to focus on awareness, as we're going to talk about in just a second.
Hey, Brian, I just want to jump in real quick and,
awesome.
And read a comment from Tony Roby, who I thought, answering the question that you posed just a second ago, where she replies, educating employees about the benefits so that they see the true value of the benefit that suits their lifestyle and family needs. So maybe you can kind of talk a little bit about that and how that sort of addresses it. And by the way, in the Q&A sections, we're really seeing how, people, like Sam, as an example, says, in unique lens, the struggle to promote and get traction on our well-being tools. And Kathy writes, we have a lot of, ESL employees, so self-service has far proven difficult. So those are the things that, you might want to comment on, and we're going to get a little bit deeper just for all the attendees today. But I thought Tony's one was really spot on when we're talking about the true value of benefits.
Well, that's really awesome. The problem is, and that I really like the idea of promoting the true value of benefits. And so many vendors and so many products do it poorly. We work with a few life insurance, a few health insurance, a few HSA custodians, things like that, helping them with education and engagement. We do a lot to help them make a decision to, say, go from a traditional medical plan to a high deductible health plan with an HSA. We help with the decision support. But we don't necessarily promote the true value of, say, buying up in short-term disability, or the real value in their total rewards. Now, total reward statements have moved largely online and things like that. Those are two different communications tools. Obviously decision support, and then obviously something to prove value. But I just stand by that idea. They're going to ignore you. Our audience they don't necessarily care until they've made the decision. Where I really love the idea, and we'll talk about this in a second, of showing the total value, it's in nurturing the relationship with a particular benefit. So if you've rolled out health insurance, or pet insurance, let's say. I've made the decision, let's go with pet insurance. Great. I like using it. I really like the idea then of continuing to nurture that employee on their decision to go with pet insurance. That's where I really feel like the value is there to promote what it's worth to them, or what it's worth. I think I'm understanding this question well. It's complicated, and there is no end-to-end solution that helps with decision support, and then something that shows a total value or total reward statement of it all. That would be a pretty cool platform. Maybe something we could think about in the future. So keep asking the question. Maybe if I didn't dig in enough on that, and maybe I missed a point, but you certainly let me know, Corey. I talked about, again, millennials and Generation Z. They're not going to give you attention until they want it. I like to say this right now. It's worse now than it ever was. I see it in myself and how I'm rewired and how I consume content and information and make decisions. we're so inundated, it makes sense that you're going to block off as much as you possibly can. I'm using hand gestures you can't see right now, but you're just going to block off everything that's going on around you, plug your ears, and then when you're ready to buy, you'll just buy it. Because we're so conditioned to on demand. We can go get anything we want at any time, and it's going to show up on our stupid doorstep, except for benefits and benefits communications. So we're so inundated, we have to shut everything out. And then meanwhile, benefits communications is something totally different. So let's imagine though, Inc. magazine, let's just finish this and make another point. It is, they did say, okay, now that you have their attention, you've been blessed with your employees' attention. How do we make it valuable during that period of time? Yeah, use an approachable conversational tone. Got it. We specialize here in removing the jargon, increasing clarity, removing the jargon, make it as easily to understand. Our number one video on our platform is benefit terms. Just how do you make coinsurance something understood? Whenever possible, use visuals. So I'm on the second point here. So think infographics and illustrations. Be lighthearted and humorous. This is that independence. If you study Generation Z and millennials, you know authenticity is incredibly important. So you got to be lighthearted and humorous. You got to be genuine to the person. And keep challenging this. Oops, double click there. Keep challenging the status quo. I mean, think novel, think interesting, think innovation, think, you got to cut through the clutter of all the communications that are going on. Again, these people are inundated with information. How do I be interesting? How do I be informative? But I think it's more about we need to make them aware. And then when they're ready to make a decision, let's make our answers findable. We're going to talk about that in just a second here. So now the next one, understanding our audience. To them, open enrollment is cramming for a final. They're on demand. They can have a brand new $50,000 car delivered to their doorstep. So when I'm ready to buy a car, I'll just have that car delivered to my doorstep. But yet we make them make a cars level purchase buying decision every single year for 2 weeks. Can you imagine what they're memorizing during that? But we also understand that this is a necessary evil. So there's not much we can do about it right now. But let's agree that if they learn 100% of the information you want them to, they're going to forget 80% of it after 30 days, according to Thomas Mentel's book, The Human Mind. So they'll remember 20% of what they learned after a 30-day period. So again, reinforcing the importance of awareness, the importance of regular promotion. Yes, we have to participate in the noise that they're blocking out, but they're picking up on the awareness. They're picking up on the understanding that they want that benefit. And then they'll take the time to study, or they'll take the time to read. They'll take the time to do that when they're good and ready. Which brings me to this point here. Employees prefer frequent communications. This is directly from Aflac. Employees are 2 times more likely to leave their job if employers communicate poorly or infrequently. Really, the stat is tied to if their boss is poorly communicated to them. But there's also lots of correlation to Aflac. Obviously, having studied this is really in benefits communications as well. In benefits, our goal is, multi-folded in communications. Is to help them make the right decision. It's to help them understand their benefits, to help them do that. I also like to think that the goal of communications and benefits is to get the employees to use that benefit, which then drives stickiness for that employee in their employer. The more they're using their benefits, the more they're appreciated, the more they see the total value to that question earlier, the more likely they are to say, we're selling our benefits into our employers, which is why we're here to also talk about marketers in just a second. The lifespan of content is short. Look at TikTok, instant decay. Facebook, 6 hours. So that means you put a post out there, everyone goes, oh, that's so cute. That person, oh, your daughter in dance is so adorable. That post is dead in 6 hours, right? YouTube, 20 days, Pinterest, 4 months, LinkedIn, 24. It's actually longer than that now. LinkedIn is 2 or 3 days. I'll post something on LinkedIn and I'm still getting likes and comments in at least 3 or 4 days. I only bring this up because this is interesting stuff. This is the stuff they're inundated with. These are the digitally natives who are spending time on these platforms. And it's really interesting stuff to them and fun and funny, not even benefits. Can you imagine the lifespan of content and benefits, your email or your post? It's instantaneous. It's within seconds that it's no longer interesting. So we can't go away from being drive-in awareness. We have to understand that you're kind of presenting to an empty stadium of people, if you will.
Can you, Brian, talk a little bit about how much time the average employee spends
Oh, go ahead.
reviewing and enrolling in their benefits per year and the time on that.
Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you?
Yeah, one of the things that we are always tracking at Learn Your Benefits, and we have been for years, is how much time do employees actually spend reviewing and enrolling in their benefits? And surprise, surprise, it's actually only about 15 to 20 minutes per year. And if you think about that's per year. So if you think about it, our biggest challenge is really engagement. And as Brian is outlining here, content really deteriorates really quick, and it's sort of in and out of people's ears. And if you think about how little time that is, I mean, most of us spend more time composing an email for a client or our superior than we do actually reviewing all of our medical and wellness and financial benefits through our employer. So how do we get across a plethora of information in a very short amount of time with limited attention span, and be able to get it personalized and customized and easily accessible? And that's really where our platform really shines and what we're all about here. And Brian's going to elaborate more on that.
Yeah, you got to make your information interesting and entertaining when they give you that, when they bless you with their 15 to 20 minutes, or what was MetLife's, I think it was MetLife's statistic a few years ago was 17 minutes. Yeah, it's the average time people spend on our platform was about even 4 or 5 minutes to make a decision. It's on demand, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Now, marketers have pivoted to this little diagonal thing here. 5 benefits, doctors, hey, click here. Like they've moved to clickbait because they know that increases attention. I'm not saying we need to do that with our ongoing year-round communications, to switch to clickbait, although it'd be pretty humorous if somebody did. I'd love to see if that actually worked, if that's even legal. I'd like to, put that in the comments if that's something you've done, or email us. I would love to see it. But again, it's just in one ear and out the other. Employees demand findability. We Generation Z and millennials demand on demand is what I've been saying now for about 4 or 5 months. But yet we lock everything behind a firewall, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. Let's talk about how marketers, again, are leveraging findability, though. Amazon.com, which is going to rule the world, and we're all going to be the fat people floating around in Wall-E. But they're ruling the world because there's no login. It's immediately searchable. It's instant visibility of all the products and everything on the planet they would ever want to buy. Amazon is driving awareness through influencers and just return business. Tons of awesome logic built in, going, hey, if you bought this, other people bought this, and trending products and all that kind of stuff. They've mastered awareness. They've mastered logic. They've mastered helping people get to their desired choice faster. And I'm going to talk about benefits communications, and I'm curious to see how much you can draw a correlation to your communications to Amazon or the awareness of it. Speaking of that, the time from problem to solution is about 180 seconds. So tying it back, instant web and mobile access is key. So I'm going to give you an example in about 4, 5, 10 minutes here, whatever, that talks about the employee benefit or the customer journey. When they become aware that they need a product, or they become aware that they have a problem, to the actual solution time is about 3 minutes these days. You have 3 minutes to be findable by that person if you're selling I know I need a toaster. You have 3 minutes to be that person that's selling a toaster to buy, to put it on their doorstep. It's instantaneous. And I'm going to talk about the employee benefits journey for people in just a second. You can't solve it in 180 seconds in many, many organizations. And decision support tools. People aren't going to give you the time to do it until they're ready to give it to you. MIT said it. I agree with it. Decision support tools are great, but take a look at the utilization of them, man. I mean, we have a client that's got 2,500 employees, give or take. Their decision support tools across 13 or 14 benefits gets about 120 uses to 130 uses a year at an enormous cost. Again, you're not going to get their attention, and they do nothing to promote all the available benefits you have. So again, now we're going to take another level step towards our thesis of connecting employees to consumers, or what we can learn from marketing with that information. So employees, they don't like to read, they're bored. It's because they're digitally native, and they're potentially a majority of your organization. Employees don't want to cram. They're not used to buying once per year. They prefer on-demand purchases. on-demand awareness and on-demand findability, and they'll make their decision. They're independent. They don't need you to tell them what they need to buy, which is the fourth point there. And then when they have their attention, it needs to be interesting and informative. And then, but yet they'll give you attention when they're ready. They're not ignoring you. They're just not interested at that point in time. So stated another way, drawing that conclusion, marketers are aware that consumers are everything I just said. Consumers don't like to read. They don't like, then they're bored. Hence Super Bowl commercials and why, interstitial ads and those things need to be interactive and entertaining and engaging, because you're speaking to people who are digitally native and they're a majority of the buyers out there. Consumers don't cram ever. Unless you're in an urgent panic to buy something new, they're not cramming. They're not used to buying everything. All right, everyone, you have 2 weeks to buy everything you're going to buy for the whole year. That's what open enrollment is, right? And I wish I could change that. I don't have the power or the capability to do that here, but no one's making their entire year-round purchase for everything, their need from groceries to clothing to vehicles, in a 2-week period of time, but yet we force that on them and we expect them to learn everything during that two-week period of time to leverage them the rest of the year. They're not going to. They will have forgotten it. That's why awareness is so critical. Independent and overwhelmed. They want year-round awareness, on-demand findability. I'm going to talk about that more in a second. They want interesting and informative, infographics, fun little videos, influencers, so on and so forth, but they'll give you their attention when they're ready. They'll watch your videos when they're good and ready to buy something. And that's when you really need good quality content out there. So let's learn from marketing. So let's enter the customer journey and the benefits journey. Our role is to help get our benefits in the hands of our employees, help them make proper decisions, help them use them during the year. And now let's pretend we're marketers, pretend we're selling products. So let's talk about the customer journey, and then let's go back to the benefits journey in most employers. So what employers are doing, right? They're doing the Sears Roebuck catalog once per year, which is your benefits guide. And then during open enrollment, you have everyone gather around the lunchroom or on a webinar at a certain period of time. And we hear about the stories that are awesome and the cool benefits that we're having to offer. And we all know that goes in one ear right out the other. Well, what they really want is Amazon, YouTube, Netflix, Google, right? So what marketers used to do, Sears Roebuck catalogs, and advertise before, Corey, you would know any one of these people, some sort of radio hour show. Again, what they want is Amazon, YouTube, Netflix. So now I'm going to introduce the idea of the marketing or the customer journey. I wish I had a better photo in here. I apologize for being a little bit blurry, but this is the methodology that marketers use in order to bring a consumer from awareness to actually buying the product, and the tactics they'll regularly use to drive them through to conversion all the way to advocacy. So let me describe that here over just a couple of minutes here. The typical type of things you will see, all with a means to getting people to use something and then advocate. So interest and awareness. So it's the very beginning of the journey. You'll see social media, influencer marketing, loyalty programs, YouTube and video ads, billboard, newspaper, radio, word of mouth, right? It's just that little thing in your ear. Oh, I remember hearing about that car. Oh, yeah, that sounds really interesting. Or my friend Samantha just bought a Tesla. That's really interesting. That's awareness, right? So then now let's stay on the Tesla idea in Samantha's awesome Tesla. And you get to findability. You go, oh man, my car is breaking down. I got 250,000 miles. I kind of need to find a car. So findability. This is the idea that once awareness has sunk in enough and people are aware that they have a need, you need to be findable. Your product, your service, your car, your benefit, your health insurance information, it needs to be searchable and findable instantaneously. So this is what marketers are doing is maps, directories, apps, search engine marketing. That's why Google is also going to rule the world along with Amazon. It just makes finding answers and information really, really easy. And if you can't make your information findable easy inside your employer, I guarantee they're going to go to Carl, who is my person who is going to offer stupid advice. Carl is going to be the closest warm body that somebody's going to go ask, and Carl's going to recommend a Chevy pickup. No offense, I actually drive a Chevy, but Carl's going to recommend a Chevy pickup when you're looking for a Tesla, right? So we need to make sure our answers are findable. Reputation, how reputable is your product? Is your health insurance plan good? What is your employee sentiment on that plan? What is the value of the pet insurance? Is it with, Carl's pet insurance company, or is it Aflac or MetLife? Is it a valued place that I want to trust my dollar with? That's reputation or consideration phase. And then conversion. Are we making it easy to buy? Look how easy Amazon makes it to buy something. Look how easy we make it to buy health insurance. It's ridiculously complicated. And by we, it's the royal we. It's everyone from our carriers to us to, our vendors and whatnot. And we make it hard to buy. And then we wonder why they're not doing it. And then advocacy. So many of us are not doing much on that last step there, which is to nurture the value of the total rewards here. So I'm going to just go through one more example of the customer journey, and then I'm going to tie it to the benefits journey that many employers struggle with. Awareness. Let's imagine this really simple example of my toaster stopped working this morning, so I'm now aware I need a new toaster. And through advertising, I'm aware that, there's lots of companies around me that sell toasters, from Target to Walmart to whatever. So that's awareness. So Target and Walmart does a lot to drive awareness that they sell toasters. Findability. I'm not going to Target or Walmart. I'm not leaving my chair because it's a stupid toaster. So I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to search toaster, and I'm going to find the store that has it because I trust that store. I'm comfortable with that store. I've got a great experience with them. I'm going to go right to Target. I'm going to Google toasters. Now I'm considering the toaster. Do I want 2 slices? I want 4 slices. Do I want a crumb tray? How long is the cord? All right, great. It's going to fit underneath my cabinet. It's not super ugly. Now let me buy the thing. Get it done. I'm going to buy now. This is obviously Amazon's colors, not Target, but you get it. And then they do a great job going, hey, thank you for buying that, Brian. That toaster is really, really cool. By the way, the people that bought that toaster also bought this. And people that bought this toaster also bought the warranty program. And that's the customer journey. And all of this was done in under 180 seconds. You can buy a toaster in 7 seconds, I bet. But most people will spend at least a few minutes in order to decide they want to buy that toaster and where they're going to buy it. And all of this is on demand. Very little of what we're doing for benefits communications, and again, these are consumers, is on demand and follows that simplicity. And again, it's no fault of our own, but I think we can learn from this. So we've concluded the benefits journey. If you take anything out of this, there's a couple of steps I'm going to talk about in a minute. That is the benefits journey. So what is that? Awareness. So let's just say you got a puppy. You go, okay, I need a pet insurance program. This is where awareness of my need meets the awareness that you have been running a pet insurance offering for years. It takes time to build awareness. We're inundated with information, but it takes time. So it's really, really important that awareness is kind of always running in your organization. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. Now, how do employees even know what's available in many organizations? Because a lot of us aren't even doing year-round communications, and they forgot about open enrollment because the benefits guide is a Sears Roebuck catalog that got thrown out and ignored. So most people are significantly not aware of what's even findable or what's even there. Now, findability. Where is my answer? What are my options? Is your internet site current? Is there search on it? The benefits guide's in the trash, so that's not doing anything. Where's the other information? Is it Carl? Is it in the bed admin system, which is predominantly about enrollment and timekeeping? Probably not. And then consideration. This is where we use videos. We have 5, 6 types of videos that educate and navigate. It's pretty cool stuff. Won't spend much time talking about, but this is where people are going to look at the charts. When I said a second ago, MIT said in Generation Z and Millennials, even Generation X, they won't give you attention until they're ready. Now they're ready. That consideration phase. What do we have that actually drives education at the consideration phase? And then conversion, how easy do we make it to buy that? What website? Where's the form? What's the phone number? What's the app? How do I even contribute to the HSA beyond what I'm doing? We make conversion so hard in the benefits journey for employees. And then nurturing, are we even doing anything? And let me just say, there's very little about this that's on demand because of infrastructure and our vendors and our options. If I become aware that I have pet insurance to the point that I'm finally filling out the form to enroll in it, that's not 3 minutes. That's a day. That's more. You risk losing buyers, or AKA you miss potentially enrolling people into your benefits and understanding and leveraging all this hard work you're doing because we make it really, really hard for them to get to enrollment. Again, some of these are time bound, obviously, with open enrollment and whatnot, but I think you see the point here and how just difficult it is to do this. And so we're going to start talking about communicating across the benefits journey here in just a second. So one of the biggest things in the benefits journey is on-demand content, on-demand answers, on-demand more. So I want to ask, and certainly go into the Q&A. Wow, there's quite a bit in here. I'm just scrolling down it now. Have you started implementing anything on demand for, finding information, the findability of answers, a little video from your vendor? And if so, what are your observations? I have this facetious question I like to ask is sometimes, do you test the findability of your answers, or do employees test it for you by constantly asking you questions? You know what I mean? So that if you're asking questions, I'm telling you, your findability is terrible. And that's, again, employees aren't going to go looking for something until they're ready. Let's talk about a few more of the gaps. So number one, we're big believers in the idea of the benefits communications journey, offering, campaigns and texting and outbound promotions regularly through the year. Employers let's talk about marketers. They're constantly advertising. It's just about awareness. It's just to make you aware that that product exists. And then it gets reinforced at the consideration phase because of word of mouth and testimonials and case studies and whatnot.
Hey, Brian, let me just jump in real quick. Tony had another really good point. I just wanted to emphasize this. She says, don't give employees benefit guides just to throw away. Everyone likes to be on their phones. Create a QR code and let them scan it and get on their guide with their personal devices at their leisure. Maybe you could, kind of dovetail that into really what that means for our platform and the way to go. I couldn't agree with her more there, but I just thought I'd emphasize that.
Yeah, I first of all, I love the QR code. I love the instant accessibility of it. We work with tons and tons of brokers who have employers force them to do benefits guides that no one's reading. And you could make them virtual, and you could share them online and allow people to access them when they're good and ready. QR codes are awesome, and we use them all the time. Our employers use them all the time, because every one of the Learn Your Benefits sites that we set up for employers has a unique URL, which you tie to a QR code. So it's really awesome for employers just to regularly share the QR code or put the QR code on a poster or whatever, because it always drives them back to Learn Your Benefits, which does everything you're seeing here on the screen in terms of features. I had this one conversation yesterday, and this is anecdotal. I love the idea of QR codes. I recommend everyone sort of think about it. We use unique URLs as well. That's another way to do instead of QR codes. But I had this conversation yesterday with a broker. They have, I want to say 11 sites that they're giving to their employers through us. We have a reseller program. Some of them don't want to use the online benefits guide components of, if you were to see our platform and you were scheduled demo, you could see you can create a virtual benefits guide on Learn Your Benefits. So tons and tons of text fields surrounded by videos, all our video tools, all the promotional tools, campaigns. I love it, of course. But they all go, well, I need a branded, super well laid out benefits guide. And my argument always is, those are awesome, they're great, but the only reason you're putting significant time into laying it out and branding it is because it's enormously long. If it's 30 some pages, no one's reading it. You're spending all the time to lay it out, and you're doing it to make that 32 pages interesting. That's the only reason you're doing it. It's not about findability of answers. It's sure as heck not searchable. It's not about how consumers at all purchase and understand things. So the more you can put this stuff online and the more you can make your benefit guide searchable, I'm telling you, you're going to make finding answers ridiculously fast. And I love the idea of getting a QR code to people, especially in organizations that not everyone has a phone number or not everyone has a laptop or an email or something. We see it a lot in manufacturers, even in banking and, railroad and things like that, where you got to get them to something somehow, and a QR code is an awesome idea. Benefit options are expanding. Right there. Look at this little study from Fortune magazine in 2022, what people are adding: more dental coverage, caregiver days, unlimited PTO. You get it. All these options are dramatically expanding. They're condition specific, they're disease, they're diabetes, there's ergonomics, they're customizable, they're time bound, they're seasonal. How do you educate people in 2 weeks during open enrollment? You can't. It's about year-round awareness. It's about findability when they become aware that they have something similar to this. And then it's about quality content at the consideration phase of the benefits journey. So you need to provide more time for consideration, which is year-round. And most employers aren't communicating this way, especially small and mid-size. That's why we love Learn Your Benefits. It's there for any size organization. Findability then. We lock everything behind a firewall. It's in a benefits guide no one's reading anymore. QR code is an awesome idea. Let's get it to it, but let's make sure it's a virtual machine. Let's make sure the PDF then is searchable at the very minimum. Sears robot catalogs are dead, but yet we're all kind of using them, right? So one more time is let's just focus on how are we driving awareness regularly. Learn Your Benefits, we do virtual or we do, automated year-round campaigns to help employers. We set them up with them in the beginning of the year. They come on and they come off. Send them off through text or email and things like that. How findable is your answers? If you're getting tons of questions, they're not very findable. Albeit you're still going to get a bunch of questions from fringe use cases and people like that, but whatever. What are you providing in a consideration? This is where content is king. I mean, content is king and, conversation is King Kong, but what are we providing at content for them to consider that benefit? Word of mouth, case studies, trending benefits, get your vendors to provide you with materials. And if you're not begging them or demanding videos, you should be. They should be spending the money on this stuff just as much as employers should be doing as well. I'm going to skip over one of my questions just in the interest of time. We got about 15 minutes left. And so I want to just make sure I spend some time on questions and a little bit later. So now we talked a ton about the employee benefits journey. And I have this slide up here. It says creating year-round communications for all audiences. We're giant believers in year-round awareness and then ensuring findability. So that's why we have a slide dedicated to this. So campaigns, text, emails, infographics, limited in-person events, and then findability, open sites, things like that. I get this stuff is time-consuming and could be expensive. It's not expensive with us. That's my other little advertisement here, right? It can be simple. It can be automated. There's some pretty cool tools out there. Go take a look. But awareness is just about making them aware. It's going to feel pointless in some cases. But that's just how people are aware. Advertisers, having been in an advertising agency, helping organizations with multi-million-dollar advertisements, and you're running billboards and you're running search engine marketing, keywords in Google, and you're running television commercials, they sure as heck can't draw a dollar correlation accurately on what the ROI is on that awareness. Like, you have to do it. You have to be making noise in order for them to even to consider you as a seller. So in HR, we have to be making noise. We have to be reminding them within reason. Let's not burn them out, right? But we have to be driving awareness, and we're just not. Findability then, open sites. We are massive believers in open sites. Your deductible, your copay, your phone number for your pet insurance, your mental health phone number with your EAP. I don't know why it's locked down. Everyone has one, so we might as well just acknowledge that it's a thing. I like layered information too. Some stuff password protected, some not. So I'll give on that. So we're not on my soapbox so much, but e-commerce like websites, let's make sure we can find through searching. Let's see trending benefits. Let's see what other benefits are offered in like groups and ages. Let's make sure everything's in one place, not multiple resources, multiple websites. And then with the group the other day, they have an internal intranet site, an external intranet site, a SharePoint site, the Ben admin system, and then point of sale machine in like 5 or 6 different locations. How do you maintain all that? I mean, we got to have everything in kind of one spot, which is really findability. Now we're moving down the pipeline, like consideration. This is where I really like to lean heavily on companies like us or companies like your vendors to provide the blogs and the case studies and the calculators and the value of that benefit and decision support tools and things like that. Your job is awareness and findability. Look to obviously Learn Your Benefits helps with all of these. That's the shameless promotion, but the reality is look to your vendors and things like that for videos and decision support tools and decision support videos and videos that recommend and drive and navigate and so on and so forth. And then conversion is just zero friction buying, calls to action, buttons, training materials, pre-populated forms, your vendors, choosing the vendors that make conversion easy, not multiple sites, not multiple users. They're doing SSO with you or single sign-on, if you will, so on and so forth. And then what I like to say is ensure each benefit has its day on the benefits journey. So making sure we have a material or tactic for each benefit along the benefits journey. So going back to the awareness, pet insurance. Let's make sure we're running a campaign for pet insurance once or twice a year. Let's send it out through email and text and let's push it. And maybe do a 2-minute lunch and learn. I know 2 minutes, but let's just do a little 2-minute thing on awareness. Put it someplace now. Let's make sure that stuff is findable. When I realize I need pet insurance, let's make sure my landing page or where I'm going to is searchable. I can see that 2-minute video you did. I can see the prior text you did and go, yeah, okay, it's findable. I love that pet insurance. Now, wait, I have a 300-pound dog. 300 pounds is a monster dog. But, is it going to work for me? Am I really spending money on pet insurance? Is it really worth my time? That's the consideration. But let's make sure we have good quality content at this point. And then conversion, how easy is it to find the phone number and so on and so forth. So make sure you got something going on for each benefit across this journey. Benchmarking. When we land or interview prospective clients or new clients, we like to talk about what are you presently doing for your benefits communications. And I bring this up to talk about the prior examples because if you're not doing those things beyond that, you're really, really not alone. Most employers that are small, under 300, under 600, they're not doing multi-channel communications with emails and texts, and their landing pages aren't as well developed, and they're piecing together free and cheap tools and solutions, and you see a dramatic shift about 1,000, 3,000 on up employees. And again, this is all surveys in this, and that's awesome. And it's complicated, and we all know. I've spent a lot of time in really small businesses as well, even micro organizations as leadership in there. There's not enough money, not enough time, not enough people. And so that's one of the reasons, pivoting a little bit to the advertising portion of this presentation, just give us 2 minutes on this, and I got some cool stuff at the end, is our goal is to bring everything you see here in the circle to every size organization. Nonprofits, employers, we have employees or employers on our platform that have 18 employees. We have employers that have 100,000 employees. I want to bring all of this. I want to bring the entire customer journey to every single employer that's out there. It's ridiculously critical that we're communicating in modern ways, and it shouldn't be ridiculously expensive. It should be affordable. Software as a service has proven that you can bring priorly expensive programs down to per employee pricing. We're in that space, and that's what's super awesome about Learn Your Benefits is to bring communications to any size organization. So our promise to you is something that's plug and play educational technology, but yet your employees get findability and education and consideration. We're going to give your employees the YouTube, Wikipedia, Google experience they're looking for on desktop, on mobile, with tons and tons of cool features. I'm just going to fly through and video playlists and searchability and sharing functionality and year-round communications. You get a virtual benefits fair experience. This is something that's going to take you from open enrollment to year-round communications to campaigns, all in a single platform, not just something that's one tool like decision support or one static postcard website or something like that. This is everything. Buttons and calls to action, and everything is mobile optimized with tons of video solutions from playlists to videos you record. We have no storage limits, no streaming limits, no nothing. Put every piece of resource, every video, every handout, every video you record on this. Put everything in one spot. Put it next to our benefit term, or put it next to our stock videos that are in English and Spanish. And then we have some really, really cool templated video features where you can create videos custom to your benefits in your colors in minutes. Videos that are an entire playlist that can be specific to your benefits in minutes without the expensive need for an animator, without the expensive need for large upfront costs. And these videos don't just educate, they navigate. Hey, now that we're talking about vesting in a 401k, here's our actual vesting schedule. And then we obviously do tons of custom videos. So your employees get to experience everything along the benefits journey within Learn Your Benefits. And for you, we want to just give you every tool we possibly can for the entire journey. We want to drive results with you. We want to give you fewer questions. We want to have happier employees. That way you spend entirely less time on communications. In some cases, 2/3 less. I like this little chart here to look at the top in total hours. Time after Learn Your Benefits in green, time before Learn Your Benefits. Fewer Q&A, no on-site meetings if you're a multi-office location. Paper benefits guides are done because we're going to do them virtually and they're searchable on Learn Your Benefits. And then you have a year-round tool. We're going to schedule campaigns and landing pages. You have all of our analytics from everything from top videos to top campaigns. You're going to be a sales and consulting tool, if you will. And then all you got to do is just turn us on. Our software as a service and more. So, and it's super easy to use. And like I said, we got clients that are really small, our clients that are huge. And so it doesn't really matter. Anyways, that's the end of the advertisement for Learn Your Benefits. Let's just talk one more time about what we learned today. So hopefully you see the idea of your audience. Your employees are the same people buying perhaps your products that your company is making. They've changed in how they understand and they become aware and how they consume content and ultimately buy something. The customer journey has changed. It has since 2000. I remember an enormous shift in the advertising space in the early 2000s, particularly when mobile came out. The customer journey has changed. Therefore, the benefits communications journey needs to change. And we need to leverage technology for effectiveness on that because they're digitally native. You're speaking to people who never set down their stupid phones. Me potentially being one of them. So if you're on the fence about this, I completely understand. So, but I encourage you to go to blog.learnyourbenefits.com, subscribe to our blogs. We'll share more thought leadership with you. We're always constantly doing it. It's something that's really important to us more and more is if we can't help every size organization due to the budget or time constraint, maybe we can teach you something. And so then also check out our ebook, learnyourbenefits.com/ebook. I love LinkedIn. I'm trying to be more and more on there, and I just think it's a great channel. So maybe follow us. Again, if you're on the fence and you just want to study our ideas, I really, really please do. We appreciate it. Past webinars. So we do lots of webinars through state SHRMs and smaller organizations, and we love helping. So you can see all our prior slides at info.learnyourbenefits.com/slides_handouts. It's also in the slides that are going to be hosted here on the HR Executive Magazine here. Future webinars, subscribe to our emails. We do about 2 a month, everything from resiliency to Generation Z and millennials to 10 reasons communications to be, going around year round. We have broker solutions and future webinars on broker topics. If you want to meet with us, talk to me, talk to Corey, go to learnyourbenefits.com, schedule demo. We're certainly here to help. And then Hey Summit is a group that we're pretty active with now on future webinars. So you can see past and present webinars. So before we leave here, we got about 3 or 4 minutes just for some questions. Anything, Corey, you want to address that you're seeing in the chat? Any feedback? Anything I can do better?
Yeah, I've been answering some questions along the way, and one of the things that people are kind of talking a little bit about is maybe just sort of talk a little bit about how we help compared to a broker, or how we work with brokers, really, and what we're doing. I'm kind of getting some questions about that, and then on the other side, just understanding sort of reaching not only employees, but spouses of employees year-round for the benefit. So, for instance, if the primary plan participant has a spouse or dependent, but that primary plan person isn't sharing the information with the spouse, and the spouse is needing to, understand it, where can they go and what can they do? And obviously, I've been trying to promote people and people should know to sign up for a demo at learnyourbenefits.com. We're happy to answer any questions that you have. It's very brief. But Brian, maybe you could comment on that, those two things.
So we work directly with employers. You'll find a couple hundred employees on up tends to be where it starts to make a lot of sense. Right to the point, if you're an employer where you're thinking about needing to staff up another FTE or partial FTE, and you notice that person's going to spend tons of times on communications or onboarding and enrollment and things like that, that's usually when I think Learning Benefits just steps in and goes, man, you don't have to hire anyone. We'll just automate that whole piece for you. Take that work off your plate. Brokers, if you're a smaller organization, you're leaning largely on your fully insured, broker to do your communications. And that's awesome. I mean, they're getting paid and everyone should, and we should lean on them. But what I would do is I would encourage you to go to your broker and come to Learn Your Benefits, because we have reseller programs for them. So essentially, we're going to make it so attractive for them to buy it from us, and they're going to give it to you. And I think that just works. It's a win-win-win for everyone. It's a win for Learn Your Benefit. Hopefully this is being too predatory here, but it's a win for us, obviously, as a company selling something. It's a win for you because now you get a year-round marketing tool that your broker is doing. And then here's the win for your broker. They're spending tons of time on communications. They're going to automate that with us. They're going to save time. You're going to get an awesome product, even if I do say so myself, and we're going to sell something. It's a win-win-win. We're seeing brokers cut communications time by 2/3 as well. Putting the virtual benefits guide out there, using our video template feature, using our analytics to help you make benefits decisions and help nurture your employees. Use campaigns out of our system. You benefit and they benefit. So absolutely go to your broker and do it. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of organizations are part of us through brokers. Going to spouses, that's one of the biggest things. And, Corey originally hatched the idea of Learn Your Benefits, in his old agency. And then we came together and formed the company, 6 years ago now. The idea was no one is talking to spouses. And why is that? Well, we're locking everything behind a firewall. Answers shouldn't be behind a firewall. Imagine how much stuff Amazon would sell if you had to log in first to even understand what was available. So we're big believers in open sites that are accessible via a QR code or a phone or something like that, to get people to the answers. And then you can share that with spouses. And we have tons of share functionality on our stuff because they got it. You got to share your benefits with employees and their partners. I happen to be on my spouse's benefits, and we're in Minneapolis, and Best Buy's headquarters is here. I have no flipping clue what I even have at my disposal, because it's all locked up. You got to log into an Aon platform, and you got to hand out your username and password, and you got to have their positive identification, multi-layer authentication in there, and I can't even get in it. So how does that even help me make a good decision on what's available to me, especially if there's mental health benefits, or I could stand to lose some weight. Maybe there's a weight loss program I can't even get at. So Learn Your Benefits is trying to stop that, or at least layer in security. We have to do that to help our employees. So I think we're at the end of our presentation time here. I'm going to hand it over to Riley. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Again, more questions on learnyourbbenefits.com. If you just want to spitball topics, go to info@learnyourbbenefits.com. If you're an existing client of ours, awesome, thumbs up. Go to support@learnyourbbenefits.com, and we're going to get somebody in our customer success team to get you using our platform. So with that, then, I'm going to hand it over to Riley. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Thank you very much, Corey, for joining me here. Hope you all have a great rest of your week.